A very good morning to everyone. I hope you guys are safe and doing good. So today what we're going to do is we're going to learn a new programming language that is known as Python, right? So Python is an interpreted language. What does it mean? That means in Python you don't have a compiler that compiles the entire program. Each line of the code in Python is interpreted. Each line is checked one by one, right? You don't have a compiler. In this you have an interpreter. That interpreter interprets or checks each and every line of your code, right? So let's start with the basics of Python. The first thing that we're going to do is data types in Python, right? So we have 4 data types in Python. The first one is int, second one is float, third one is string, and fourth one is boolean. Now let's study them one by one. The first one, int. Int is any integer value, 5, 6, 3, anything, right? So let me just put it here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Now let's take a variable. Now you have these values. You need to assign these values to a variable. Let's take an variable x. We are assigning our integer value 3 to it. You don't need to put a semicolon here. Python does not need a semicolon like other programming languages, Java and C++, right? Now you know that x is a variable to which value 3 is assigned. But how do you know what is the data type of x, right? I just told you that it is a int data type, but for someone who doesn't know about the data type, what they can do is they can just print type of x. Now let's run this. As we can see, it has given us class as int integer, right? You should know the data type, but you should also know how to find the data type of a particular variable. Suppose you're working on a large project, right? A weird value is assigned to some variable, which does not falls into the category of int, float, string, or boolean. So in that case, you need to know that this thing that using type you can find the data type of a variable, right? So the next thing we come to is float. Suppose 2.3, 4.1, 5.6. These are all float values, etc. So again, let's take a variable y and let's assign a float value 2.3 to it. Now if you want to find the type, just print type of y. Now if you run this, you see we've got a class as float, right? So what we're doing here is we're just using print because we need to print this, right? We're using type because we need to find this type, and then we're passing the variable of which we want to find the type. So it's a very easy syntax. There is nothing big in this, right? You just practice few times and you'll memorize this. Let's take a string as hey. Ch is equal to hey. Now if you want to print the type, print type of ch. You can see we have got str, right? Well, in Python, str and string, they both are same, right? Now, hey, hello, hi, etc. Now a question comes, what if you use only single inverted commas? Here I've used double inverted commas. Let's take a variable s to which in which I've used some single inverted commas, and let's print the type. It will give same. Now let's run this str. I hope all these 3 data types are clear to you. Now let's move to the next data type that is known as boolean or bool, B-O-O-L. It has 2 values, true and false, right? Suppose we have yeah, true here equal to 1 and false here means 0. So there are two values. Either you can write two values as true or false, or either you can write two values as 0 and 1. Right? They both are same. Okay, now let's try this boolean out. Suppose we have BOL as true, where T will be capital, right? Yeah, here your T will be capital and here your F will be capital, right? So now let's print the type. Type of BOL should be boolean. Now let's run this. As you can see, we've got bool as our type, which is boolean. Whereas what if we used small t and print the type of BOL. As you can see, here we have got true is not defined, right? True true is not treated as a keyword. Here true is treated as some variable that we have declared. So that's why we need to first define it. What if we here define true as 1? What if we define here true as 1? Now if we run this, we'll get integer, right? So always you make sure that your T is capital, right? Now let's check for false. If we assign false to our boolean BOL variable, now we'll print the type of our variable BOL. As we can see, we have got bool. So these are the data types. These are 4 data types are very important, and always I would say that always keep this in mind and practice as much as you can, so that you don't have to memorize it. It will automatically be, it will automatically come to your mind whenever you will solve questions. So practice as much as you can. Now after this, let's perform some operations, right? Suppose you have x is equal to 5 plus 3. Now if we print x, we'll get our sum as 8, right? So our first operation that we've performed here is addition. Let me delete this. Let me give a heading first. Operations, right? So the first operation that we're going to perform is addition, and like we've discussed, suppose we take a as a variable and we add 5 plus 5 and then we simply print a, we'll get 10 as our answer, right? Now the second operation, let's perform subtraction. Suppose we take a variable b, let's take a variable s for subtraction, and we subtract 7 minus 3. Now if we print s, as we can see, we've got our answer as 4. Now what if I subtract 10 from 8? Will we get a negative answer? Yes, as you can see, we've got minus 2. So any type of operation can be performed in Python using variables and operator. That is, operator is minus, and 8 and 10 are the operands. Now the third operation, let's perform multiplication, right? So let's take a variable m and we're multiplying 5 into 5, and let's print our m. We got 25 as our answer. So very easy. Let's perform another division. So yeah, division. Let's take a variable d where we're dividing 5 by 2 and print our d. So as you can see, we've got 2.5. Now what if you don't want, what if there's a condition or there's a situation where you don't want this 0.5, you just want the integer value, right? This front part. So what you'll do is you have another operator. Let's take again d as a variable. Now this time you won't put single slash, you'll put double slash. And now if you print d, you'll get only 2 as your answer, not 2.5, right? So this is again another operator through which you can get the integer value of the division, just the integer value. Now while solving equations, you can use brackets also. Suppose you have y is equal to, you're using bracket, inside bracket you're writing suppose 8 is 2, and then outside you're multiplying 3. Now if you print y, you'll get your answer 30, right? So this is how 30, this becomes 10 and 10 into 3 gives 30, right? So this is how you can solve expressions also. Even a large expression you can solve. Okay. Now another yeah, I'm writing here you can use brackets also. Brackets to solve large expressions. Okay, now the sixth and the last one I would say is that exponent. Okay, now if you want to calculate exponent, suppose you have ex as a variable and you want to find 2 into 2 into 2 into 2, right? Now if you print your ex, you'll get your answer, right? You got 16 as your answer. But now why to write so many times 2 into 2? Suppose you want to multiply 2 100 times, right? So you won't write into 2 into 200 times, like, right? This into operator is okay when you have a small number, right? Suppose you want to multiply it 5 times or maybe 6 times or maybe 10 times. Now what if you have to multiply for 20 times, 100 times? You won't write into 2 again and again. So for this, what you can do is you can write 2 and then you can put double multiplication operator. And now the number of times you want to multiply. Suppose you want to multiply 2 20 times. So now here you can write ex and you can run, right? So this is what you get when you multiply 2 20 times. You can check the answer. Now suppose again you want to multiply 2 100 times. Now you'll print ex. So you've got a very big number because you've multiplied 200 times. So this is very useful operator. Keep this in mind. It is exponent where you just use 2 multiplication signs. Okay. So this was all about the operations.